unfunded obligations. We make a lot of promises to a lot of people. A promise made is a debt unpaid. America makes a lot of promises out here. I think there's a lot of handshake agreements that the country does that we don't know about.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, because if it's out on paper, it'll shock us. It's like, damn, we really need that much money? Oh yeah, we really in fucking trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why is our country so broke? The one and only tape.
What's up, y'all? Get ready to break it down and level up. Welcome to Doing Numbers, your number one financial literacy podcast in the world. Clap it up. I'm your host, Olu.
I'm your host, Scott.
So bring your pen and pad because it's about to get real.
That's a fact.
Scott, what's up, bro?
Man, we back, champ.
Man, we back. It's been a little minute.
Yes, a lot of development.
Did y'all miss us? I hope y'all missed us, man, like we missed y'all. Because I've been having a lot of information I've been wanting to share with y'all, man. I have some great things happen over the last couple months for me, man, that I, want to break down and level up on.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man.
What about you, man? You've been traveling.
I have, man. My suitcases got miles on it now. My passport, a few more stamps. A lot more life experiences to share with y'all.
For sure, man. Where you go?
Went to Amsterdam, man, the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Beautiful place, beautiful people.
Talk to me a little bit about that, man.
It was actually my 5th year anniversary, so we can clap it up for that again.
Yeah, for sure. Sis, congrats.
What up, cutie? But yeah, Amsterdam was a beautiful place. You've never seen foliage like this, man. I know I'm wearing green now, but the green that I'm wearing is no comparison to what we saw out there. The trees, the foliage, the flowers, the plants. We stayed off of the canal in an Airbnb. It was really beautiful. If y'all want to check that out, hop on my TikTok, see the footage that we got. My old lady got jumped, bro.
Nah, she didn't.
Yeah, bro. She did. On Juneteenth.
What?
By the white boys.
What?
Yeah, man. The seagulls got her up through there. Yeah, man. For some soft serve, for something so petty.
Ooh.
Yeah,
so
man.
They out there heavy?
Yeah, they are. They some real gangsters, yeah. Bandanas and everything on the seagulls. Y'all got to watch out when y'all go out
Are they
there.
pretty big or small?
Relatively big, yeah, because we were on the beach in Amsterdam. Yeah, man. They got her for an earring, got her for ice cream.
What?
Put her up through there.
Vicious. You couldn't press charges, though, could you?
Nah, but she still blamed it all on me.
Man. So, being in Amsterdam, man, away from the country, I always like to know, is there any inspiration, anything that you took back with you, man, that you are just paying attention to now or more appreciative of now that you've seen another part of the world?
Of course, bro. A couple things. First being the societal norms that we experience here in America. I won't say that they are a non-factor, but they're watered down in other places, right? Like, if we go to an amusement park or something like that, we might get a few glares from other demographics and stuff like that. But in the Netherlands, everybody is so happy and secure in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And another thing that I learned is how much you can do with so little. The apartments out there, they're well put together, but they're not full of those extra trinkets that we look for to secure ourselves with, or to feel secure with. And I appreciated that. Less is more. Yeah. If y'all go to Amsterdam, do not rent a car. Don't do it. The bikers have all the power out there. You got to get them the right of way. It's a statistic out in Amsterdam that there are tens of thousands of crime in Amsterdam, tens of thousands of cases of crime, and all of them include bike theft. So make sure that you rent you a nice little bike and do some training before you go, because your legs gonna get real strong and bulky. So make sure y'all do some leg presses for y'all head up out there.
That's good to know, man.
But yeah, it was a beautiful place, a beautiful experience, man.
Yeah. How was the food?
Fresh,
Wow.
man. In other places in the world, they don't allow certain additives or stuff like that.
Yeah.
They don't permit for those things to be brought into the country. So all the food was super fresh, and I realized that things that are culturally exclusive have been Americanized so much that they have a completely different taste. Something as simple as pasta. You see what I'm saying? Like all the sugars and salts and stuff that we put in our food, they typically don't.
And it was still flavorful.
I ain't gonna say all that.
Okay.
I said it was fresh.
Okay, it was fresh.
It was cool. Yeah, you definitely gonna have to adjust your palate when you go out there. But it was a great experience. Like we didn't go hungry. Like they had some phenomenal foods.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to search.
Now, what I want to know is, eating that food, did it make you feel full, or were you energetic? Like, yo, I'm ready to get into what's next.
I'm glad you asked that, man. To answer your question, I felt full, but not slothy. Meaning, like, I didn't feel lazy, or I didn't feel particularly outside of myself. Like, I could still go do another 30-minute walk if I needed to. Whereas here, if I go to a restaurant, if I go to Steak 48 or something like that, I'm going to eat, but I'm going to be ready to go to bed right after. So I didn't feel that way in Amsterdam at all. So
okay.
I'm glad you asked that, because this trip inspired me to reinitiate my 75 hard challenge I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Back when I did the 75 hard challenge, you noticed I had lost weight, my skin cleared up, XYZ, but even more so, I felt better. You know what I'm saying? I felt more energized. I felt more productive in my day, XYZ. But coming off of that diet, I realized that the foods that we eat make us less productive, because we lose energy.
Absolutely.
Because our bodies are fighting to burn all that off.
Absolutely.
So I think moving forward, actually after tomorrow, I'm gonna start my 75 over and I'm gonna commit to it.
Y'all heard that now.
Y'all see, I ain't got the cooking arms no more. You feel me? You saw a little jiggle. Hold on.
My man been holding it down in the gym, y'all. Don't let him fool you. He in there.
Ooh, that boy get there.
He in there,
Yes,
man.
sir.
I see you, bro.
Appreciate you.
You already know. Now, what is the demographic like? So I know we got a lot of obese people in America. Did you see obesity over there? Like, were a lot of people more fit? Did you see athletic build? Did you see some, big people? Not to be funny, but I'm just interested in knowing.
Yeah. Well, the contrast is completely different. I'm gonna say that. The larger people that I did see were older natives or American tourists. But everybody there really cycles to and from work to do their day. Like even the parents, they have like carriages on the front of their bikes, and they take their kids where they gotta go with their bike, instead of a car where you gotta sit for however long your transition is.
Right.
If you ate right before or right after, that food is sitting on you and adding weight. But if you cycling and burning it off, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They got healthier habits out there for sure.
That's good, man. Those are definitely some habits that I would want to adapt.
Yeah.
And make changes to. So to know that there's other parts of the country out there, man, that are living the right way, it appears to be. They take health very serious. It's definitely an eye opener and something that we should be alarmed about here in this state. That, what are we doing?
No, that's
obviously these people aren't here for our best interests.
No, that's a fact. Corporations, we had this talk on the pod before. Super predatory, man. Their bottom line is the bottom line. So we have to make ourselves the priority as opposed to being serial consumers and looking for that instant gratification in a moment that's going to bite us in the ass in the next whatever time span.
I agree, man. So I love to hear, the exciting time that you had, man, as you shared that with sis, and you guys got to cherish and enjoy your 5th year anniversary. That's wonderful. I'm glad you made it back safely.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff happening out here, so for you to make it back safely is dope. And I know we got a cool game, man, that we want to roll out.
Y'all ready?
Truth for truth.
All right, y'all, let's roll it out. It's time to play true or false. Our first true or false question is, well, it's a statement, really. The U.S. government once fully paid off its national debt, then immediately started borrowing again. Is that true or false? What you think of?
I think it's true.
Think it's true? Okay. So, just a disclaimer: we're gonna disclose all of the answers at the end of the episode. So, if you would comment, like, subscribe, make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and make sure you give us all your feedback.
Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, make
every
sure
Monday,
you check us
8
out
p.m.
on YouTube. Subscribe, man. Next, true or false? In 1835, under President Andrew Jackson, the U.S. was completely debt-free for about 5 years. Then Congress couldn't resist borrowing again. We've been in debt ever since.
It's true.
Why do you think it's true?
I think it's true because we really can't resist from asking for money. For some reason, it's a hard thing for us to make our own money. I think we burned a lot of those bridges. I know they're trying to reindustrialize.
And stuff like that?
Of course, yep, with trade, dealing and bartering, partnering with other countries, and then even in our own country, like tearing down the whole industrialization that we had set forth, that Biden had put a bill out for to bring in like semiconductors and things of that nature to help people, move further along in technology and so forth. We've now severed that with the administration we got in now. So if nobody here is able to use their hands to make money and, create things, we got to go out and find it, and we got to spend it elsewhere.
You got to be resourceful.
So I believe it's true.
Okay. Well, next up, J.P. Morgan once bailed out the entire U.S. government with a personal loan during a financial panic. True or false?
That's actually true. I was watching The Men That Built America. Have you seen that?
No. What's that?
Bro, that is really good. I think y'all should definitely check that out. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Men That Built America. It talks about all of the heavy hitters, all of the, founding fathers of the economy.
Like who?
Andrew Carnegie. Who else? Vanderbilt. I forgot his first name, but Vanderbilt, he was the guy that invented the railroad system. And you got John D. Rockefeller. Then you got Henry Frick. He actually was a heavy hitter himself, handling his own business, but he ended up partnering with Andrew Carnegie with the steel. So Carnegie was the guy that invented steel, reason why we have a lot of skyscrapers, things of that nature. And then you got Henry Ford, you got J.P. Morgan, Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla. A lot of people, and I'm going to bring up Nikola Tesla because I don't think a lot of people hip to who he is, but Thomas Edison, not who you really think he is.
Hey,
but,
not to throw us off.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble remembering notable white names?
Just Vanderbilt.
I do. Like actors, actresses. Yeah. It's like I draw a blank when I try to bring up like a Caucasian, a notable person.
It depends, I guess. It depends.
The best I got is Bruce Willis.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you need a little help, bro.
Yeah, man.
But, man, no. So the Men That Built America.
A little cognitive racism.
It breaks down each one of those powerful people. It breaks down their story and how they all eventually integrated and came together to form what we now have as America.
Okay, cool.
So J.P. Morgan had a portion of it there where they tell his story.
It's like a doc?
It is.
Okay.
And JP was about his business.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah. Still is. JP was about his business. But yeah, there was a point in time where the U.S. needed funding. He was a real wealthy person at that time, and he actually bailed out America. Yeah. He gave him $100 million.
Wow.
Which I don't know if you want to do the math on what that looks like in today's money, but yeah, $100 million. He gave America, bailed him out.
How much do you think it'll take to bail out America now? Like, what do you think that number looks like?
We broke. So shoot.
So we 33 trillion in debt.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of money, man. You're gonna have to at least bring your most powerful 4 or 5 people together in order to make that happen.
I think it's gonna take a little more than that.
So, I mean, yeah,
because you got to cover the deficit and then take care of the overflow too for our expenses.
It's gonna cost a lot. Yeah. It's gonna cost a lot, man. We real broke. Yeah. So we're gonna get into that though.
Okay.
What you got next for me?
Next up, the U.S. government once spent over $1 billion on a plane that was never used in combat and then scrapped from the program. I think that's true or false?
That's true. That sounds like something America would do or the government would do.
Yeah, you don't trust them. Man.
Nah, they do it's a lot of unfunded obligations out there that America has put on us, man, that made us feel like it was there for us as support and assistance, but it's not. Like the Social Security Act, the healthcare trustee fund, all of that stuff is depleting soon within the next 5 years. But if you look back at the Social Security Act, that was never put in place for people to use, as supplemental income. At one point in time when it, was brought about through Roosevelt, It was part of the New Deal. It was like the linchpin to the New Deal. He was basically like, hey, we need funding. This is a way we could basically get over on our people. So we're gonna create this fund, this program called Social Security, where we know people aren't going to outlive to even need this supplemental income, because at that time the life expectancy was only 62 years old. Now look at everybody. Right. Look how science and technology has advanced. We got 100-year-old people, 111-year-old people. I mean, people are living well beyond 62.
I saw somebody hit 135 on Instagram.
You know what I mean? And these people are banking on that Social Security to supplement, their lifestyle. And now they didn't expect as many people to be well off beyond 62. So now they punch in the air trying to figure out, where am I going to pull this funding from? It's crazy, man. 42 people to every one person was deposited into the Social Security bank back in 1943. 42 to every one person that was withdrawn. Now it's down to 3-1, because obviously people need that money. They were not expecting people to need it as much or living beyond 62 to even have to tap into that. Wow. So that's just a little education for y'all to let you know that a lot of these programs and things that are set up out here is not for us. It's only going to keep us down, y'all, if we continue to bank on these type of things. We got to find alternative plans and set up better strategies for ourselves.
Okay, that wraps up True or False for today, guys. I hope you made sure that you put your answers down below. Make sure that you communicate with us. Make sure you interact. We're trying to give you all this information to teach you something, so make sure you tune in. Today on Why Do You Think Our Country Is So Broke? I have a question for you, O.
Yep.
As far as our country is concerned, do you think our country is addicted to growth the way individuals are addicted to lifestyle inflation, i.e., looking like it instead of being like it, putting that shit on, worrying about drip over, your bank account, your interest, your investments, you know what I'm saying, your financial planning? Do you feel like that takes priority over the things that should matter?
I think it does not take priority. Well, the superficial things do take priority over handling business. Like financially setting yourself up for success, having the financial breakthrough that you aspire to have. How it's relative to the country cares about dominance, being the superior country of them all.
So how does that translate?
So because there's people obviously that make up the country in order for the things like this to occur. For us to even be able to be in a position to be the most dominant, it has to come from the people within. They don't, obviously, once again, we talked about the Social Security Act not being, a funded program for us to help us. They spit on us. You know what I mean? Time after time in so many different ways, and rip us off in so many different ways so they can make sure that they're on top. We do that in just the basic level of things where we want to make sure that we look good. We shit on this next person, whether that's what we wear, how much money we have, instead of just saying, hey, let's come together. Let's figure out how we could bring group economics into the situation. And now we all could take a piece of the pie rather than one person feeling like, I got to have the whole pie myself.
Got it.
America wants to have the whole pie themselves. They don't really want to divvy it up and spread it across for everybody to have wealth.
Do you feel like that's a hindrance to the country, or do you feel like that's advantageous for the goal?
I feel like it's a major hindrance to the country because, and I'm going to bring up that show that I was watching, looking at John D. Rockefeller. He was so money hungry and wanted the wealth of an abundance that he didn't even realize, hey, if I split up some of my monopoly and allow other, businesses and CEOs to thrive in this industry as well, all I would need to do is just invest stock in them. I hold majority of the stakes in all of this. I founded Standard Oil. So I will have a hand in all of this, but I just got to be willing to share it. Once it took him, to the point of him getting ready to die before he realized, well, actually the Sherman Act is what divided the monopoly into the, in the game and allow other people to now take, ownership and partnership in that type of space.
Copy.
But had he not, gotten shares and did all these things, a lot of people would have been hurting. But he's a lot richer now because he was able to divvy it up, put shares into these companies. These companies thrived, obviously. Because you a stockholder in it, you're going to reap benefits from it. America don't. We taking too long to think like that.
So essentially what you're saying that is that a percentage of something is better than.
Of course, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Well, next
I mean, how do you feel about it?
Well, honestly, I agree. I think that the country is too slow to grow and change, no matter what the circumstance is or no matter what the topic is, especially financially. I think we see community with other countries and union with other countries as a weakness because we are reliant on that trade. In order to be dominant, you feel like you have to have the front seat. It's not always true, though.
It isn't. And, I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of seeing my people hurting and us not really being, exposed to the resources that can help us get out of situations like this. We continuously get hit blindsided all the time. And I want to bring up the Tax Cut and Job Act, which was put in place back in 2017 with this, Trump's first administration. This was to help kind of, give people somewhat of a break. So right now, we actually are experiencing the lowest tax rates in the past 80 years. I know it seems pretty high. I know, shit is above water right now for a lot of people, but in all honesty, this is the lowest tax rates we've seen in the past 80 years. Now, that is set to expire December 31st of 2025. So a lot of people who have money put up, wealth, there's a wealth transfer happening right now as well. So a lot of your baby boomers are retiring. They're getting ready to roll over a lot of their tax-deferred money, like 401ks, 403bs, SEPs, things like that. And they're looking to put it into other diversifying vehicles that can accumulate cash value. Right. So now what the problem is that in these tax-deferred accounts, you're in bed with the government. You're in partnership with that government. So the government can decide when and how they want to tax you with your money being put in that bucket. So the reason being is because you're not being taxed up front. It's a before tax contribution. And your employer matches your contribution. This is what we have always been told growing up. Get you a 401k. Make sure you got an employer that's matching your contribution and ride that out. You should have a successful retirement. It's a lie. It's a lie because there's still truth to it that wasn't told. And so
it's an omission.
And there you go. So, part of my job is to help people in this regard, tighten up their financial strategies and make sure that they're putting plans in place where they can move from a tax-deferred bucket into a tax-free bucket. Tax-free does exist out there, but we got to be willing to want the information, and we got to be willing to execute. And we got to be willing to give up something. That's one thing about our community, bro. We hate to give up things that matter the most. Like, we'll be willing to do a lot, but it's about what we're willing to give up. And a lot of us hold on to a lot of shit that we can honestly give up that can really get us over the hump. But we get so stuck in our way, we don't give it up, man. But a lot of these ethnical groups and different racial cultures, the reason why they ahead is because they don't mind giving up certain things, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think sacrifice is essential to growth. You can't get your gifts when both your hands is full.
Word.
So you gotta let something go.
So that's my take on it, man. I definitely want people to pay attention and make sure that y'all are aware. So again, if you got tax deferred money, start looking to reallocate that into some tax-free opportunities for yourself. If you got questions on what those tax-free accounts look like or how you can strategize and put yourself in that type of bracket, definitely reach out to me on my Instagram or just through Doing Numbers page. There's a link in my bio where we can sit down and have a one-on-one discovery call and figure out, how we can get you into that financial breakthrough that you're looking for. But this tax-deferred way of us growing our money or putting it in CDs where we're getting low interest-bearing, opportunity on that year over year, we're not keeping up with inflation. So we're now losing purchasing power. So it's hard to retire and know what you're going to do if you don't know how much money you got. That's why it's important for us to pay attention to these things. This is very important, y'all, and we got to make sure we tapping in.
That's for sure, man.
Why do we idolize wealth so much while demonizing taxes? Isn't that a contradiction?
Depends on how you look at it. My personal opinion is that the demonization of taxes only leaves us ignorant. So the reason why we idolize wealth so much is because it looks good.
For sure.
Because you can show wealth. You can, you can walk around with wealth. But taxes, it sounds like a depletion, and it takes us back to that sacrifice thing. A lot of people don't realize that taxes are here to help not only just the economy, but the people who know how to play the tax game well, right? Like a lot of people who are disenfranchised wait on their tax returns, and there's a reason for that. Because that's an opportunity for you to exercise the tax code, right? Like you get certain tax breaks for doing certain things and playing the game. But the only way you would know that is to do your research, play the game, get you a financial advisor like yourself, or a CNA. I'm not a CNA. I'm sorry.
Not a CNA, but if y'all need one, holla at him. He gonna be able to
I'll put on some scrubs for y'all, man. No, not a CNA, man. I forget what it's called, y'all. I'm drawing a blank. CPA. Thank you. Yep. Get you a CPA and get knowledgeable about what the tax code offers you, what opportunities it offers you.
100%.
But I also do agree that it is a contradiction because we look at everything that way. Anything we gotta relinquish, we feel like it's a loss, but it creates more space for more opportunity. So that's my take on it.
And then I think to add on to that, when we look at wealth, it's like it's a calming experience to look at. You know what I mean? Everything it's a good aesthetic. It looks good. It puts you in a great space of thinking. But then when it's tax time, or you got to go through that process of just allocating your funds properly, educating yourself to where it doesn't have to be a demonizing way of viewing taxes, but okay, here's just my strategic way. I'm just going to play the game and strategize the same way that others are doing. Your S&P 500 CEOs, they're doing strategies like this. And we sit back and wonder, like, damn, how are they in the 0% tax bracket? How are they doing this? This seems impossible. They're ripping off such and such. There's ways for you to get into that.
Very much so.
And that's information that people like myself and others have. But again, you got to be willing to want to be helped. You got to be willing to give something up in order to get it. Because most of your wealthy people have gave up a lot. I'm sure none of you guys can name one wealthy person that hasn't given up a lot to get where they are today. You probably wouldn't be able to name one. And if you sat down and asked them, I'm sure they'll have a laundry list of things that they gave up.
Or they won't have anything at all because they win supersede their losses. But you'll never be able to see that unless you take one. You got to take a risk.
And another thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is your 1099 tax bill. Your 1099 tax bill that you get at the end of every year lets you know how much of investment income you have out there that is being taxed. Some of your tax deferred buckets that you have that are being taxed. You just got to be a little bit more in tune with this information and what's in front of you, because they give it out to you. The thing is that we pull the window shade down. We Willie Coyote. When that train coming and it's getting ready to hit us, instead of us moving off the train, we just pull the window shade down and pray to God that we don't get hit.
Bro, you so country. You country as hell. It's Wiley Coyote.
Wiley Coyote.
Why you turn Buddy into Willie, though? Willie C.
Wiley. Whichever.
Oh, damn.
But y'all get the analogy. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop pulling the window shade down, man. This train is getting ready to hit us, too.
No,
so just make sure that, you paying attention, man. Please pay attention. Do not sit on that train and let this train smack you dead on. Because once it hits you, it's going to be a wrap. They really are trying to squeeze out the middle class, man. And these are the ways that we got to pay attention to how they're doing it and combat that and come up with a better strategy to put ourselves above that.
You got to be proactive to see where that leaves you. You know what I'm saying? Where that course of action leaves you financially. If you don't set yourself up for success today, you're going to get hit like that by that train, like O said. Yeah. And you're going to be left behind. It's going to be harder to crawl back out of that hole. They creating new holes for us as we speak.
Patch up that boat, man. You got a lot of holes in that boat. Patch them up.
Make sure you tune in.
So you don't sink. So I got another question for you, Scott. Are tax cuts actually helping people, or are they just giving temporary relief while making long-term problems worse?
That's a great question, man. So I'll start off by saying this. I believe that tax cuts benefit the people who are knowledgeable about them. The reason why they don't benefit everybody is because everybody isn't knowledgeable about them enough to take affirmative action when it comes to tax cuts. I do think that certain tax cuts create bigger problems because you have a ballooning effect of finances. And when that balloon pops, the structure falls as well. So that's my take on your question. I also believe that when it comes to tax cuts, they almost always benefit the people who are the wealthiest because they've taken advantages of the tax code. And that goes back to the last question. Make sure that you read the fine print moving forward. After this episode, just make it a goal to read the fine print of everything you sign up for, i.e. taxes. Everybody in this country that works for a wage signs up to pay taxes. America wants this cut. It's legal extortion, but you signed up for it. Read the fine print, and the tax code is part of that fine print.
Man, take me back to 1913, early 1900s, man, when the tax rate was 1%.
Do not take me back. I might pass the paper bag test, but do not take me back. I'm straight.
But I think, it helped. I think tax cuts help people who have plans in place.
Yeah.
They definitely help people that have plans in place. But those who don't have plans in place, when you get a tax cut, you just like, okay, you cut taxes. Great. I don't really see it, affecting or helping my pockets any. That's because you're not really diving in deeper into the subject and becoming your own subject matter expert in your own situation. You got to be a subject matter expert even in your own personal situation. So if you understand how everything is working and moves and why certain things are happening the way that they happening and, why you finding yourself in the hamster wheel continuously, then you'll be able to say, okay, cool. I'm an expert at why all of this is occurring. I know why it's happening and when it's going to happen. Now I got to take affirmative action and come up with a better strategy to combat that. A lot of us, we don't take the time to do that. Or even if we have the time, who do I talk to in order to start that process or get me in that train of thought of thinking? You got people like financial advisors out there. You got financial planners. Just have a conversation with them. It's not about, oh, as soon as I have a conversation with them, I got to sign up for something or I got to sign my life away. No, just talk. Hey, this is where I'm at. I know I'm not a person that can handle my finances. I got a ton of other things I got to handle in life. But finances are very important in my life, and I know that I mismanage my money. I need someone that can help me manage my money. Have enough humility to say, I need someone that can help me manage my money. We give people management opportunities to handle everything else in our life. But the one thing that really matters the most, that we really care about, that a lot of us idolize, which is crazy, we don't even want the additional help or the assistance to make sure that we in track.
No, that's a fact, bro.
It's crazy.
And we spend money on things that don't benefit us.
We
really pigeonhole the dollar so crazy that we'll go spend it on something that makes us feel comfortable, but not something that makes us secure.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
But it's the psychology behind it. It's the systematic cage that we've been locked in, man, since the beginning of time. And don't get it twisted, man. Everybody was in a situation. When you look back in the early 1900s and the early 1800s when John D. and all of them started, revolutionizing America and everything, there was poor people out there. The wealth disproportion was so wide, it was scary for real. People, families weren't making any money. They was making people work 18 hours. These were immigrants, by the way, because this was around when, America first became about and they needed workers and things of that nature. So all of our ancestors, other people's ancestors came in and started to develop things and help industrialize the country. These people weren't getting paid nothing. John D., Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, all of them, they were taking all of the money. The reason why we have monopoly laws in place now is because of these guys. So don't get it confused and make it look like, man, my life is just, it's a lot of people's life who are set up like this. Now, it's up to you now, once the information gets out there, are you going to gravitate to the information that can help you? Or are you going to sit here and continue to, make up a story about why life is giving you a hard time?
A day wasted, a penny lost.
We got to make changes in our situation, y'all. We got to make changes in our mentality. And this is real.
Speaking on shifting the mentality, you got to take inventory, right? And there are warning signs. So, in your opinion, what are some warning signs that a government or even a person or individual is living beyond their means?
When they raise taxes, when inflation hit, when they hitting tariffs, that's the warning sign to let you know America's in trouble.
Okay, so that's for a government.
For the government, yep, that lets you know then. I mean, you got to think about it. There's one or two things that are going to happen. Either the government's going to make spending cuts or they're going to raise taxes. We've been seeing this since the test of time.
So explain spending cuts for our users, for our listeners.
So spending cuts. So we have, so I'll give you this. So the United States currently spends, and this is for the fiscal year 23, 24, 25 isn't out yet, but the United States currently spends roughly 57 cents for every tax dollar it brings in on 4 items: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and interest on the national debt. Hear that last part. The interest on the national debt. These guys not even paying down on the principal. And that's what we've been taught. Pay the principal down. You paying on interest, you're going to continuously be paying on that loan forever and ever. America's only paying on the interest. They don't even got enough money to pay on the principal. Where do you think we getting all this information from, man? Why you think we are the way that we are?
Crazy work.
America's doing it. But then they shame us, though, when we don't pay down on the principal rather than the interest, or strip us of a credit card or something like that. Isn't it crazy, y'all?
Rule makers never follow the rules.
Never follow the rules. This is why we got to pay attention, y'all, and understand what we getting ourselves into, man. It's getting real out here.
That's what tax breaks are for, financial loopholes. That's the game that our country really teaches us through action. Make sure that y'all keep abreast of the tax codes that change, because they're not changing for your benefit. And if you don't stay abreast, you'll fall behind. You got to keep up. It's not catch up, play keep up.
Word. Now that I've given you a warning sign for the government, give me a warning sign for people that's living beyond their means.
For the individual,
yes,
you'll
sir.
find that individuals rob Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying? That's an example of living beyond your means. My grandmother taught me this: pay yourself first, right? When you get a check, you divvy it up 30 to 70. That 70 pays off your bills. That 30 goes into investments, goes into savings, goes into financial vehicles, goes into hiring a financial planner. It goes into all the things that'll push you ahead so you're not relying on that paycheck to paycheck cycle.
Absolutely.
So that's an example. Another example is inflation in the home. Things tend to cost more the longer you stay in the same situation. The goal is to find different financial vehicles to make that dollar work 2, 3, 4, 5 times its worth moving forward. So just make sure that you find different vehicles and not rely on that one income. You're supposed to have from 5 to 7 streams of income at one time. No matter how big or how small they contribute. A cent is only 99 cents short to make $1. And if you accumulate 7 cents at a time, you'll get to your dollar a lot quicker than you would with the one.
And I even like to look at it in relationship standpoint. Our country has relationships with all these people that they borrow money from. We have relationships with the people that we have in our personal lives.
Hold on, you finna preach. Hold on, let me.
But
I feel a sermon coming.
But the commonality between the both is that a relationship, whether man, woman, whomever, funds are one of the top things as to what divorce. Why our relationship is rocky. We don't have enough funds. One thing about a man, we should provide with funds and what we do in order to maintain our relationship. Of course, there's other factors that go along with it, but funds are really like the number one. With America, if they don't have the funds to keep that relationship intact with the different countries that they are setting up their partnership with or building a relationship with, they're going to divorce. They're going to have situations where, okay, hey, you don't pay me, I'm going to make it bad for you. And then for us on the opposite end, as the country, we're doing everything we can to keep that relationship. So what are we going to do? We're going to go rob something. And who is America going to rob? Us.
Like or other countries with resources.
Or other countries
Diamonds,
with resources.
Gold, oil. That sound familiar?
Come on, man. It's the funds. These are the warning signs right here to let you know relationships are getting rocky. So I just wanted to add that on the personal side, but connected to where there's a commonality, a common denominator with the country and how we even handle our own personal relationships.
I like how you pieced that together.
Appreciate that, man. I learned that from you,
Seemed
man.
like it was off the cuff, too.
We off the cuff, bro. We about, we 25 episodes in. I've been watching you, dog.
Man, we not amateurs no more. It's Stockton Road.
Yeah, man. So I hope y'all really tapping in, man. If you like what you hear, make sure you share, like, subscribe to our YouTube page, man. Doing Numbers Podcast. Like I say, it's every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My next question for you, Scott, is what financial habits have we picked up from living in a country that never saves and always borrows?
Gluttony. Gluttony.
Explain what that is. That's a nice vocabulary word.
I appreciate that, man. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. I'm not a super religious guy, but it's just a medium to tie it in. Watch me work. So gluttony, in essence, in this context, just means the overgorging or the accumulation or coveting of things that you don't need. Like, it's most associated with food. So, usually with food, as far as the conventional dinner, you get 3 courses, right? But here in America, you get everything at once, right? Like you get your protein, you get your dairy, you get your grain, XYZ, but nothing that you need is in that one meal, right? Like everything that you need is not in that one meal. You probably overgorge and drink before you eat and you get fuller faster. But that doesn't stop you from eating. That's where gluttony comes in.
Got you.
It's the over-coveting of what you don't need.
Okay. So, for me, I just think it's inconsistency. I'll probably sound, just keeping it real simple, basic level. I think the financial habits, the inconsistent financial habits that we have on a day-to-day basis, the frivolous spending, the overspending, those are habits that we adapt from the country that we live in.
Explain that.
So the overspending, buying material things, buying, designer things that don't really hold value like that. We'll be willing to spend excessively on that, but in contrary, when there's things of value, because it's not appealing or it's not a shiny object that's going to attract attention, we shy away from. There's a lot of things in, with our country that they shy away from that can obviously help them. That's something that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day, but I'm hoping that you follow and you understand what I'm saying here. Now, another thing is the inconsistency. Okay, hey, or let me say the unfunded obligations. We make a lot of promises to a lot of people, even in our own day-to-day. So a promise made is a debt unpaid. America makes a lot of promises out here. Hey, I'm sure we don't know what the conversations is verbatim, but we know that there are promises that have been made on our behalf or our country's behalf that other countries are expecting to get, something in return from. We do that with our neighbor. And I promise you, man, give me till next week. I'll make sure I pay you back. That's a debt unpaid because this person more than likely is not going to have the discipline to make sure that you do get paid back. They're going
so how do you exercise that discipline from another person who does owe you as an individual, not as a country though? Sign a contract.
I would definitely sign a contract for sure.
I'm glad you said that because I got some paperwork for you because you owe me some money.
Or do a deposit.
Oh, deposit.
Yeah.
You rather do the deposit?
You could do a deposit, or you could do a contract, whichever one.
Okay.
But that is a way that you could get some type of documentation, something on paper. Because if you got to go, legal with it and go through litigation, at least you got, paperwork, documentation to show, hey, this was the agreement we made.
Paper trail.
Paper trail, it didn't get honored. Therefore, we're here today for this.
I like that.
Hopefully it never gets to that, but I think there's a lot of handshake agreements that the country does that we don't know about. So
behind the
scenes, because if it's out on paper, it'll shock us as the Americans. Like, damn, we really need that much money? Oh yeah, we really in fucking trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they throw out little numbers to make it still keep us at ease, at bay. Like, 42 trillion is not that bad if they're throwing 36 trillion over there and that. But in all actuality, it's a lot of fucking money that we really owe that they not releasing to tell us, and then they ain't gonna tell us that because they know it's gonna zone us out. They know it's gonna really now have everybody thinking like, yo, I'm in a situation that's really unstable, and now my shit is unstable because I've been hoping that the country was gonna bail me out. Now I'm looking at them for a bailout. They looking at me to be bailed out. It's a hamster wheel, man, and it's crazy out here, and that's all I can really say.
Would you move to another country because of that?
I would, in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat. Like, definitely got to find you an escape plan, man.
Needing an escape plan.
If you're not thinking about that, also, that's a couple things, man. Get you a financial planner. Make sure you get your strategy in place so you can develop your escape plan, and then think about your escape plan, because those two are going to be very critical over the next however many years, man. Depending on where you want to be. If you want to be here and you feel like, hey, I'm going to weather this storm, however long it takes, more power to you. But if you're paying attention to the warning signs,
you're so cold.
You'll be out of here. So that's all I got for that, man. What's our next question, Scott?
How do we start setting real boundaries with money when everything around us encourages spending? When we so heavily influenced with being consumers, how do we change that paradigm?
I heard someone, I think it was Sim, she was telling me that Trump said, when the economy is doing great, the object is to save. And when the economy is doing bad, that's when you do your spending.
Buy low, sell high.
When there's blood in the streets, you spend. And we overspend when the economy is doing great. Oh, prices are low. I can go get hella of that. Or, man, this clothes that I want, it's at a great price. I'm going to grab me 3 of those. I'm going to get about 4 pair of them J's. I'm going to do this, that, and that.
But you won't buy 4 properties, though.
When you won't buy 4 properties, because the economy's doing well, so that means what? Interest rates are a bit favorable. You know what I mean? It's a buyer's market. But instead of looking at it like that, like, yo, let me put it in these vehicles where I can now have shelter and money. So in case I can gain it over, compound interest, I can gain it over equity. I can have liquidity control. So in case I need to pull money out or move it here or take a loan out, a bigger loan for something else, you have a vehicle where you're saving this money, where you're, plotting this thing at. But we go out here, we spend, we take crazy amount of vacations. We go all in on holidays that are designed for us to continuously have the consumer mentality of, that we lose out on the feel good part of the holiday. It's more of a run around, spend money, get stressed, get tired, freak out because sales are going to end, or you're going to miss out on getting this one item that, your daughter might have wanted. Now you a bad parent. But that's the psychology behind all of this stuff that they got in place for us, y'all. Is to make us think like that.
So let's take a minute of accountability, because we're doing a lot of preaching and telling y'all what to do. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think your financial weakness is as far as being a consumer and spending? Because obviously we both pretty fashionable people. So what do you think you spend your highest deficit irresponsibly?
Honestly, I've gotten a lot better, man. But
you don't want to be accountable.
No, I'm cool with that. I have gotten better though, because I've been on a crazy journey lately, y'all, and I haven't even tapped into that. Maybe y'all hear more about that in our next episode. But
you never know. Stay tuned.
I think for me, it was like entertainment.
Like baseball games, what?
Yeah, like traveling, going to certain, events, spending money at that event because I want to have a good time. And even like, I think retail spending too.
Okay.
Retail spending is something that, I've found to be one of my biggest money leak opportunities to grow from. But I've taken strides of getting there. So those are my two.
Okay.
What about
fair.
you?
I was told I need to take my fucking cape off, bro. Somebody check my collar on that. So most of my finances go to bailouts. I should start a loan service.
JP.
Yeah.
You're JP Morgan. Wow.
I'm OG Morgan.
Wow.
Nah, but bailouts more often than not. So when it comes to helping people, I'll do overtime.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody say they need help and they looking at me, it's like a stripe on my back for me not to help when I can. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't had many opportunities where I needed a lot of help, but I've always had people to come through for me.
Yeah.
And it's important to me to be able to come through for the people who come through for me.
Yeah, man. It comes with a price.
Hefty one.
A hefty one, man. So I definitely commend you, man, because you are a good brother, man. You take care of your folks. You take care of your village. And
this conversation stressing out, y'all. Y'all see him.
So I definitely want to give you that, man. Give you your flowers on that for sure. But I know, what comes with that. We've had conversation about that. So
the reason I bring that up,
I think it is good for you to take that off.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The reason I bring that up is because we have to be honest with ourselves and accountable about where we put our finances, man. A budget and a spreadsheet is essential to financial freedom, y'all. When y'all set up y'all budget, be honest about where your dollars go. And the only way you'll know that is if you pull up your bank statement. There are consistencies in every bank statement, whether you have one bank account or a plethora of. Every one of your expenditures, whether you swipe or you use cash or whatever the case is, you know what you spend money on. On your day-to-day, it might be coffee, it might be cigarettes, might be gas if you got a gas guzzler. It might be your family, but you spend money unnecessarily somewhere. Find out where that is and ask yourself whether you're willing to make the sacrifice or not. And be honest with yourself, because that's important. You could say, I'm not going to buy coffee no more, but if you're addicted to coffee, chances are you're going to buy more coffee. So just build your spreadsheet, see where you can make adjustments and where you can't. And like I said before, a penny saved is beneficial.
There you go, man. And on that note, we appreciate y'all for joining us today, man. Again, we happy to be back. Sorry for the wait, but we love y'all, man. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to check us out every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Olu.
I'm Scott.
This is Doing Numbers. Peace.